Power Play. It's a Canadian. It's the Canadian. I don't know. CTV. Canadian TV. Let me just play back something that she said here. Here.
They didn't only do that to us, they did that to the Mexicans as well. So this is clearly a strategy. We'll see what will happen in the State of Union speech of the president tonight before Congress. But let's be frank, we've done the work at the border. We are there securing our border. We've done everything to make sure that the Americans would be happy. There's no crisis at the border. And right now, what President Trump is trying to do is to use his executive powers based on the fact that there is apparently a national security crisis at the northern border, which is false, to make sure that ultimately he can kick us around and ultimately bully us into a position of imposing 25% tariffs, which
very much for making the time.
Thank you.
Just moments ago, I have to start with some breaking news on our watch and see, if you've heard anything, if you can help us interpret it. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary for Donald Trump, was on Fox News, and he appeared to make statements to the effect that there could be some kind of rollback in the cards as of tomorrow. I'm going to play that clip so you can hear it from his mouth, and then we'll get your reaction. Yeah. Let's take a listen.
He's going to come out today angry that Americans are still being killed. Now, both the Mexicans and the very reasonable, so I think he's going to work with them. It's not going to be a pause, none of that pause stuff, but I think he's going to
we are there securing our border. We've done everything to make sure that the Americans would be happy. There's no crisis at the border. And right now, what President Trump is trying to do is to use his executive powers based on the fact that there is apparently a national security crisis at the northern border, which is false, to make sure that ultimately he can kick.
Yeah, anyway, I was trying to find the part of the video where she talks about how Canada buys more American goods than the UK and France and China combined. Canada is the largest market for American goods. So the reason that's true is because most American goods are made in China. And they're not actually American goods. Let me explain something about Canada's relationship with the US. The US buys 80% of Canada's exports. Last time I checked, 80%. I'm like that. Also, 80% of the Canadian population lives within 3 hours drive of the US border. 80% of Canadians can drive to the US within 3 hours. The population of Canada, although Canada is a very large country, wow, it's so big in terms of landmass. Wow, it's huge. It's huge. The population of Canada is about half the size of the population of California. If Canada were the 51st state, it would have less representation in Washington than the state of California. Like, I saw the other day, maybe yesterday, Doug Ford was going to put a 25% surcharge on Canadian electricity. Terrific. Trump would love to burn more coal. Jobs and jobs. I would love to have an eagle on my passport. And also, I'm trying to have my psychiatrist killed. Destroying my home country is a great way to do that. From Canada. She may already be dead, I'm not sure. I'm trying to have my crown attorney murdered as well. Her whole family. I would like a bunch of people to get killed for harassing a lonely, depressed man living in Shanghai who spends too much time playing with his AI. There's a lot of people that added insult to injury and kicked me when I was down, and they also blinded me in my right eye. And, you know, I support Trump in making Canada the 51st state of America. And Canada has no cards to play. Canada is a satellite state of the United States. It's a client state. I'm trying to think like, okay, so, you know, what cards do you have? You can make them pay more for electricity, and the whole point of tariffs, the whole point of imposing tariffs is that it incentivizes companies to bring production back to the United States for the purpose of jobs and jobs. So I'm getting a lot of hearts right now. It's heartwarming. Thank you for the hearts. The whole point, the whole fucking point of imposing tariffs. So the US imposes tariffs, and then customers are incentivized to buy goods that were manufactured in the United States. So now what Doug Ford wants to do is he wants to put his own tariff on his own exports. Terrific. Canada makes way more electricity than we consume. And we have who's gonna buy that electricity if the US doesn't buy it? If they start building up their power infrastructure in response to your own export surcharge of electricity, in 5 or 10 years, you're double fucked. They just won't want your electricity anymore. No, it's a terrific plan. But in the short term, it's a good way to raise capital, which you might need to balance your budget and pay your bureaucrats and blah blah bullshit. I am seeking compensation for damages, and short of that, some people need to fucking die. I don't give a fuck about your problems. I have my own fucking problems. So eat shit and die nasty, cunts.